The MAGA world is in complete shatters. They are completely unraveling. Elon Musk is splintering off. He's fighting with Steve Bannon. And then you have all of these MAGA loyalists who their number one voting concern was the Jeffrey Epstein case. And Elon Musk kind of gave us a prelude to this a couple of weeks ago during the breakup that the reason you're not going to hear about the Epstein case is because Trump is at the epicenter, which if you don't live in a right-wing media silo, already know that. You already know he was like best friends with Jeffrey Epstein. But some of these people are just finding this out for the first time. Musk has started the America Party, which is really rich. If you think about you're trying to siphon off people from the MAGA base and you're a South African.
Right.
Like that you don't have enough self-awareness to know that these people are such ethno-nationalists that you have to be white of European descent, born in America, all your grandparents born in America, or you're not going to be completely American. The fact that he doesn't know that is wild. But nonetheless, he's launching the new party. He's picking a fight with the Trump administration. We're here for it. Right now, he's unfollowing all of these MAGA accounts. Put these up. 1, 2, 3, 4, like 9. He's just rapidly unfollowing. Nancy Mace got the cut. Fox News got the cut. The persistence. Jim Jordan cut. Neutered Jim Jordan. Let's see. Oh, Attorney General Pam Bondi and my favorite, Moses Mike Johnson gets unfollowed by Elon Musk. And I want to point out about Pam Bondi. She's the one who embarrassed herself as Attorney General and goes out to defend a private corporation. And she's going to file terrorism charges against somebody that scuffs up a Tesla. And how does she get rewarded for this? She gets the big unfollow. And I just want to point out, you guys probably know people like this or have heard about people like this in your personal life. Like you hear about two people getting in a fight, adults. And then you realize who the most immature person is in the fight because their first move when they have conflict with another adult is to go unfollow them on social media. Well, that's exactly the maturity level that we're dealing with Trump's former best friend, top advisor, former roommate, Marine One, riding mate, Air Force One riding mate, and full-time nanny. We cannot forget that Donald Trump appeared to be a full-time nanny of little X. So everybody's getting the cut on social media, which for somebody who is a Twitter addict, that's about as hateful as it gets for him.
Oh, absolutely. He's probably like, haha, I showed you. Two things about this. On the American Party, I agree with you 100%. Elon Musk is South African. But also, Elon Musk is so profoundly unpopular. Like, he doesn't have any self-awareness about how much people hate him. And then I look at this list and I think, how much we saw Mike Johnson licking Elon Musk's ass while he was at Doge. Oh, well, I've been texting him and he's so great and blah, 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 blah. Is Elon Musk going to back a primary opponent for Mike Johnson? Because Mike Johnson's district is 40% on Medicaid, which he just voted to cut. Is he going to fund his primary opponent? Jim Jordan. We've all watched the documentary about how you covered up sexual abuse at Ohio State. Is he going to run a primary opponent against you? These people, because they don't give a shit about anything but themselves, are worried about their jobs more than about their malfeasance.
Okay. And then next up, so he has a problem. He created the Grock, which is his AI. And facts have an inherent objective liberal bias. And this is something that people on the right have always struggled with, because if you have facts in, then you have a hard time with your propaganda that you want to promote onto your dumbed down, rube, religious base. Okay. So Grock keeps getting described when it is asked to spit out facts. The MAGA base is like, oh my God, Grock is woke. You've got to do something about Grock. And so Elon Musk is like, yeah, hold my beer. I'm going to fix Grock for you guys. Well, what happens when you remove objectivity and facts from not only a human being, but also a fake human being named Grock, is you become a Nazi. You become a full-blown Nazi. Pull this up. So Grock is praising Hitler here, and he says at the end of this, to deal with such Vile anti white hate, Adolf Hitler. No question. He'd spot the pattern and handle it decisively every damn time. And this is about like how somebody asked Grock, how would you handle dealing with this situation, the flood? And somebody had said something, and she had a Jewish last name. Grock just annihilates this person. You guys, it is insane. And then Grock starts referring to itself as like Hitler, MAGA Hitler, and all of this stuff. But you know what? This is really a prime example of what happens when you lose facts and objectivity and critical thinking as a human being or as an AI bot. You become a full blown psycho Nazi MAGA nut. And we all know that Elon Musk, I mean, the Sig Heils, we all know it's been building up in him forever. And so this is no surprise. And I'm so fucking sick of the narrative that college campuses have an anti Semitism problem. College campuses don't have an anti Semitism problem. College campuses are seeing the war crimes committed daily by the government of Israel and are responding as people that have empathy. That's the fucking problem. And you have the ADL and all of these other people who just sit and they never point out the problem in the epicenter of anti Semitism in the United States is the MAGA party. Full stop. Instead, they want to pick on college students who historically, when they see injustice, have risen and said, this is not just. We don't want to see children getting bombed. We don't want to see children getting killed. So it's not a rise in anti Semitism. It is a rise in people seeing war crimes. That's the fucking problem.
No, I completely agree with you because the anti Semitism from Elon Musk, I mean, we've all known that. We see how Donald Trump, he has dinner with Nick Fuentes and Kanye/Ye. He doesn't give a shit about the Jewish people. He gives a shit about his buddy, Benjamin Netanyahu, because they're the same person, just in different countries. And one thing I was thinking about, Elon Musk has, he's so worried about global population and he's having all these test tube babies that are all male. Where are his Jewish babies? Where are his black babies? He doesn't have them because he is a fucking white supremacist, full stop.
Okay. And then next up, Grock is spilling the tea on the Trump Epstein connection. Pop this up. Um, Grock says, because digging into Epstein risks exposing Trump's own ties. He flew on the Lolita Express 7 times per flight logs. He's not mad at his picks for debunking conspiracies. He's mad at MAGA for potentially blowing up his spot. Truth hurts. And so then Elon Musk has now thrown his arch nemesis, who seems to be Bannon. Bannon has some weird name, but Bannon for Musk. Bannon says Bannon is in the Epstein files. Musk says this about Bannon, and so this whole thing is just getting like, it's boiling up the Epstein stuff, and then every time I look at what the fucking problem is in this country, it's stupid people that traffic in these just crazy, crazy, crazy conspiracy theories. And they all are white supremacists, racists, anti-Semites. And then you have all of these people trying to wag the dog and shift it away from that, and put the burden on people like college students who and silence their speech and try to be the thought police and tell them you can't care about these lives. You can only care about these lives. I just think it's just such bullshit.
It's total bullshit, but this whole administration is bullshit. Here's my one thing about this whole thing. These MAGA conspiracy nuts, they have a conspiracy about the weather. They have a conspiracy about space lasers, but they cannot connect the dots that the Trump administration is not releasing the files because Donald Trump's in them. I can't wrap my head around it.
Let me give you an example of this. Here's a headline on the right. Supreme Court greenlights Trump's federal workforce cuts as Sonia Sotomayor rebukes Ketanji Jackson's dissent. That's how that's covered on the far right. On the left, it's covered like this: U.S. Supreme Court permits Trump to move ahead with mass layoffs and destruction of federal agencies. So, as you can see, the right always gauges things that there's some sort of internal liberal fight or somehow liberals are all at fault here. And on the left, this is the Supreme Court is allowing Trump to move ahead with mass layoffs on the foothills of him mass laying off meteorologists and weather services, where it looks like probably more than a couple hundred people are going to end up dead. And how we know this is every day, Pumps and I go to our Ground News Vantage plan. And out of dozens of articles, Ground News found reporting on this. And this is what helps you realize that you have agency and autonomy, and you have to be objective when approaching the news. So, listener, join us by going to thegroundnews.com/IHIP to get 40% off the Ground News Vantage plan that Pumps and I use every day. They're subscriber funded, and our favorite part is that they are female founded. By subscribing, you're not only getting a tool we all need today, you're also supporting our work here at IHIP News. That's Ground, GROUND, news.com/IHIP. And we have linked this right below in the show notes. All right, Pumps, I've got to show you this. So there's this MAGA loyalist, and she's losing her mind. And I want to read to you a couple of her tweets over this Epstein stuff. Okay. Here's the first one. Her name is Trisha Hope, and she is a national delegate from Texas. And she tweets, I have been to 42 Trump rallies. After the first impeachment, I drove to D.C. and spent 2 weeks walking the halls of Congress to encourage Republicans to support President Trump. I sat in the hearings and I supported President Trump. I was there the night he was acquitted. After the 2020 election was stolen, I went to see 2,000 Mules. I was livid at the lack of action. I contacted Dinesh D'Souza and told him I wanted to deliver copies to Republican members of Congress. They donated 200 copies. I went with a team of 4 to DC and personally hand delivered each one. When it became clear January 6th was a setup, I started helping January 6ers. I met with members of Congress on their behalf. I was able to get a donation of 435 American Gulag Chronicle books to deliver to Congress. Myself and a team organized by @Trumpertarian delivered 535 copies to every single member of the House and Senate. I worked for the last 3.5 years to help free J6ers. I organized Trump events. I became a state delegate and then a national delegate. I recently made a donation to the Smithsonian in honor of J6ers. I say all of this to tell you I am done. President Trump's lack of concern for the Epstein victims and his callous response to the reporter's question ends my relationship with him. I will not support a man who denies justice to the victims who, in this case, are children and mocks the question. So that is her first tweet, Pumps. Here is her second one. Put this up. And so here's the video that she's talking about where Trump is really dismissive to the media. Like, you're still talking about Epstein. What's wrong with you? Losers, get over it. She reposts the tweet. This is back to Trisha Hope. And she says, I've voted for this man 3 times. I campaigned for him. I worked my ass off. And I feel like I do not recognize him at all. This is sickening.
Okay, just a couple things strike me right off the top. Number one, she's got way too much money and way too much time on her hands. That's first. Number two, this is exactly who you voted for. This is exactly who it is. You didn't seem to give a shit that he sexually assaulted women. Now you're all mad about the Jeffrey Epstein file. You see a conspiracy in 2,000 fucking mules, but you can't link the dots of why the Trump administration is not releasing the Epstein files. Like, I have run out of words to describe the stupidity. And this woman needs a straitjacket. I mean, I find her humorous, but she's dangerous because she has money and time and is obviously organized. But how do you help someone like this?
I don't know, but here's something that we need to point out. The through line between Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump is this: they're both rich white
Right.
men. And Epstein should have been incarcerated long before he finally was. And he got a sweetheart deal. At the end of the day, do you know how many felonies he was charged with, Epstein?
Wasn't it like 6 or something?
Two.
2.
Trump 34. And so if any person of color had this type of criminal activity, we all know what it would be. But I don't know. I guess some of his most hardcore loyalists, like, I mean, the fact that the resume that I read to you all
Right.
is so impressive. Her devotion to that shit. I mean, it's impressive. I mean, to be that crazily devoted to Donald Trump and January 6th and 2000 Mules and all that. I mean, wow. Wow. I mean, that is nuts. All right, that's all we have for today. We'll see you all later.